Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Gamers of the Lost Spark podcast. This is episode 11, and we're recording this on the 22nd of July 2015. I'm Darren Whittam, and joining me as always is the other Spark on the podcast, the Gandalf of games, Antony Chesson. Antony, say hello and tell us about your week.
Hello. I don't know if my beard's as big as Gandalf's. I could only aspire to have a big beard. A big Gandalf-like beard, that would be awesome. Yeah, no, my week's been really good. It's been really good. I'm still reading Gary Whitta's Abomination, which we were talking about last week. It's fantastic. It's kind of, I'm about 3/4 of the way in, and I'm just absolutely loving it. It's quite interesting because last week I kind of likened it to Game of Thrones, but because, as I'll talk about a bit, I'm kind of back playing The Witcher. Whenever one of the characters goes off somewhere, I kind of have The Witcher graphics in my head. It's very bizarre. That's never happened before.
Oh wow! So you're sort of transposing the story onto the Witcher world.
I am indeed. It's almost like build your own adventure, but with the Witcher graphics, which is, I guess, isn't a bad game, really.
Oh wow! So how is Abomination turning out? Are you sort of nearly finished, part way through, or?
Well, like I say, I think I'm about 3/4 of the way through, and it's fantastic. It was kind of, it grips you from the first chapter. I think it's coming to Amazon soon, because as I was saying last week, I backed it on Inkshare, so I think people who kind of backed on Inkshare got their copies first. I got a digital copy, and it's very good. It's very good. I did notice on one of the websites I was looking at that because Gary Whitta is writing. He's writing Rogue One, which is the next Star Wars movie that we get after Episode 7. There has been some rumblings about kind of movie rights to this, so I guess people are just snapping it up just because of who he is now. So that's fantastic to hear, because it definitely would transfer to the big screen very well, and it would be a very interesting movie.
Wow, yeah, that's it's interesting you say that, because once you've got that reputation, it's as if. You know, you're just there. You're sort of on the radar more, aren't you? And you do something of good quality that's worth it, and it's not so much of a struggle for him to get that attention. And people are already looking and ready to run with it and make a movie of it if they can. So that's really cool. I mean, I haven't started reading it yet, so.
No, it's well worth a read. Like I say, I mean, I'm unless it goes downhill in the last quarter, which I don't think so, because it's fantastically written as well. You know, he's done a fantastic job on it. I can't wait to kind of get to the end. It's kind of one of those ones. It is a real page turner. I guess I don't page turn on my Kindle anymore, but it is a real page turner. It's a page presser because you have to press to get to the next page. But so that, and also this week I found, I think through, I can't remember what podcast it was, but one of the podcasts I was watching or listening, they mentioned an app called Leaping Tiger. Now, Leaping Tiger is quite an interesting app because it's a way where it's a gaming-related app, which is kind of why I'm talking about it. It's kind of a gaming-related app, and you put all your details in, your Twitter account, your Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, and then you can then broadcast. So if you're looking for people to play, say, Destiny, you can say, right, I'm on PlayStation, I'm playing Destiny, who wants to play? Click. And then you get like-minded people who want to kind of join games with you. So, and then you obviously have to do your own inviting on those platforms, but it seemed to work really well.
Oh wow, that sounds great, and that might even address one of your little bugbears about not having like-minded people to play with. Like I remember you talking about playing Evolve, for instance, and it was just a vacuous space, you know, in the lobby, and you couldn't organise tactics because the people weren't really interested or they didn't really have microphones. So it sort of. It ruins the experience a little bit, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and that's exactly what I was thinking, because in the comments you can say, you know, mics only, so you want people that are only prepared to kind of have a chat and communicate whilst they're gaming. So you just have all of those. So it's called Leaping Tiger. It's a brand new app. They do have some, they have been doing some things. Unfortunately, it's an American app. That's not the unfortunate thing, but it's an American app. And unfortunately, they do have some collective evenings where they say, right, we're playing Evolve, we're playing Destiny, we're playing Halo tonight. But it's unfortunately it's kind of like 3 o'clock in the morning for me, or 4 o'clock in the morning. So it's definitely a West Coast app. But you know, if it was popular and it could spawn a UK version, I think those kind of little gaming nights would be quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely good for people, certainly like me, have sort of lost touch with my old Xbox crew. And if I wanted to play a game like this where communication is paramount, it would be great to sort of hook up with like-minded people on there. Would like to meet, if you like. I tried it because you told me about it a bit early in the week, so I tried to get on and experience it, but I couldn't because, and this is a bit embarrassing, but I haven't got iOS 8.
Right.
So, and I didn't realise this is the first time it's happened to me that there's been something that I wanted, and I've sort of been priced out of the market with the iOS, if you like.
Right.
So yeah, because I think I've mentioned it before, I'm still on an iPhone 4 because I haven't really seen that there's been an iPhone that's offered enough for me to make that transition, though it's getting a bit old now. And my iPad 3 could have iOS 8 on it, but I jailbroke it because I wanted swirly icons. I don't know if you've seen that, but you can change when you swipe the screen to go to the next page, you can make all the icons dance. It's really cool, but you can't do it. You can't do that sort of thing as standard. So I jailbroke my iPad so that I could do that because I got really sort of wowed by it when I saw it at a friend's house. So because of that, I'm still on iOS 7 because ever since jailbreaking it, I just turned off updates. So I went to install it, and it was like, no, it's iOS 8 only. It's the first thing I've ever seen that's iOS 8 only. You know, I got away with Fallout Shelter, got away with this and that. The Channel 4 app, actually, what's that called? 4 On Demand, 4OD, the streaming service, that doesn't work on my iPad because of the jailbreak. It recognises that there's a jailbreak on there and pops up with a message and says, sorry, there's a jailbreak, I won't work, closes itself down. But yeah, I wasn't bothered about that really, but this I would have liked to have had a go on, and I sort of couldn't, so I'm sorry I can't sort of join in with some critique on it there, but looking at the app and looking at the reviews on the store, which is as far as I got, it looked really good.
Yeah, is your iPhone? Is it a 4 or a 4S?
It's a 4. I always waited. I was like,
oh right,
I'm not going to get a new phone until it does this, and this, and this is where HD video, high definition pictures. I wanted it to have a camera, do video, be able to play movies and stuff, have a decent browser, etc. And when the iPhone 4 came along, for me that ticked all the boxes, so I jumped in and got it. And ever since then, I've been annoyed at the gradual sort of iterative updates. I've never thought that there's been, with the Essence stuff, it's sort of annoyed me a little bit. So I've been holding back, but I've held back that long that my iPhone 4 is getting a bit dated, and I'm thinking it's time to jump to the next thing. But and I was thinking about getting an iPhone 6, but I think the 6S is due.
Yeah, I think they're due kind of normally, obviously nobody knows, but normally kind of around about September time, there'll be an event and then they'll have either 6S or 7. So the only reason why I was asking was because I know iOS 9 goes all the way back to 4S, but I don't think it goes any further than that. But that's not going to give you your dancing icons. No, that's not a new feature in iOS 9.
But my iPhone 4 I left, that isn't jailbroken, but that's just a 4, so it's just stuck on like iOS 7. And yeah, the iPad's jailbroken, so I'm a bit stuck. But I'm probably going to make the jump. But I don't want to jump to an S. I'd probably want to jump on board the 7, which I think will probably be more like next September rather than this one. So I'm just hoping that the hardware and the software and what have you will last me until then. Otherwise, I'll just have to take the plunge anyway.
Yes, absolutely. So how's your week been anyway?
Yeah, it's not been too bad. Not much to talk about, really. One thing I did do, and I sort of like thought about the podcast, was I'm looking to move house. So I've been viewing a few houses, and I've found that when I'm viewing a house, I didn't think of it at first, which seems a bit strange, but I realised that broadband is of paramount importance when you move into a new property. I mean, I wouldn't want to get any less broadband speed than I'm getting now. So yeah, and I thought it was very strange that, we've had sort of super fast broadband now in the UK for a number of years. Yet, as far as estate agents are concerned, you get those brochures with the pictures of the houses and the write-up and what have you. They don't actually stipulate your broadband speed, and I think that's a bit of a glaring error. Because it's a utility these days, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. It's more than a utility, it's a necessity. Definitely. I think whenever I find a house, when we moved about 2 years ago, the first thing I did when we found the house that we're living in now was check the broadband speed to see if I could get, especially because, 4K was coming and you needed to be streaming over an X amount before you could get to see it.
Yeah, and I think everybody these days, it's of paramount importance whether you use it for entertainment, whether you use it for hobby purposes, whether you use it for work. Working from home, it gives you that flexibility, and then there's the streaming, as you just mentioned, your gaming, just everything. It's sort of ingrained into everything that we use and that we utilise in the modern day. And I just find it rather strange that the property business hasn't sort of cottoned onto that being as important as it is, and having it there as you're looking, lounge, full central heating, double glazing, broadband speed up to this. Do you know what I mean? And maybe a list of the top 3 suppliers in the area or something like that. It wouldn't take much, would it?
No, absolutely. You could, if they thought about it, if they were a bit clever, they could probably even get sponsorship from certain providers. But then I guess that's kind of dodgy territory that I'm suddenly cooking up there. But no, it is an interesting one. Like I was saying with broadband, because I remember. We thought once about moving, and I saw the speed there, and we couldn't because it was just too slow. It's just it was crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like if I fell in love with a house, but the broadband was too poor, then as much as I love the house, I'd have to just finish my love affair with it there and leave it, and move on.
It's just not working for you. It's not me. It's you. You're off.
And I think it should be done for many reasons. One of which, maybe the poorer areas of broadband, would kick up a stink because it could lower house prices, and they kick up a stink, and maybe that would get the ISPs moving a little bit more, or the OpenReach infrastructure or Virgin infrastructure moving to sort of provide a better standard. And I was sort of maybe on my soapbox a little bit because I didn't really have this problem when I was living in the south in Surrey. I had fine Virgin broadband to my door, and I wanted for nothing as far as bandwidth was concerned. But here in the north where I am now, it does seem it seems a rarity to find a good connection. I'm getting 11 meg where I am, and I'm sort of lucky to get it, and I'm paying a premium to get that. And then the house that I went to had about 20 meg. And every house that I've sort of looked at, I've had to, mess about as well, going onto the postcode checker. This is why I wanted it on the estate agent's information, because it's a faff to go, I go to Virgin Media or whatever it is, or change uswitch.com or whatever, and do all this messing about with phone numbers and finding the address of the house or whatever to find out what the speed is. So I've done all this, and invariably I'm finding low speeds. So it's as if the north is neglected, I think, for broadband. Luckily enough, we've got enough to do things like this, but I don't think I've met anybody yet that's got a broadband like your speed or like my old speed in the south. And I think I just think it's not great,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm incredibly lucky with the speeds that I get, and especially with digital games and digital content that I seem to consume a lot of. I really need those kind of fast speeds, and it just helps. There's more than one device always on in my house, kind of downloading or doing something or streaming something. So it helps to have not only fast broadband but also reliable broadband as well.
Yeah, I think you take it for granted as well when you've got it. I certainly did, and this is why I thought it was worth mentioning, because I think you could forget it in a situation of moving house. Geeks like me and you, we wouldn't. But even so, it wasn't the first thing. The first houses I went to, I didn't think about it. It was like an afterthought. But imagine forgetting it. Imagine it slipping your mind in the midst of all the other things that you've got to think about with moving house, and then you get there and you're like, oh yeah, we'll get broadband sorted. So you ring up whoever your ISP is you've picked, and they're like, yeah, well you can get about 2.5 meg. And you're like, you what?
Yeah.
You've already completed the sale. You'd be gutted. And then the estate agents will start advertising the speeds, and you're going to lose 50 grand off the worth of your house.
Yeah, no, indeed. I think my criteria for a new house would be a good broadband, and also that Amazon Prime delivers there as well.
Yeah.
That is that's it.
Absolutely. Or if not, at least they can get a drone there, maybe.
Yes, yeah, they can fly a drone in a couple of years, I'm sure. So what have you been playing this week? What's your gaming been?
My gaming. What have I been playing this week? Well, I've been playing a bit more Rocket League online, and
you've been online.
I've been online.
All right, I haven't been online yet. I've been playing that too, and I'm just really enjoying it. But I'm not there yet, so that's probably why I haven't joined you. So apologies for that. Right. But I'm still running around like a crazy loon on that field.
I didn't want to go online, really. I wanted to stay in my comfort zone playing against the bots because I could win. I thought, no, let's just go and see. It wasn't as bad as I thought, but it's so crazy, I think you're in with as much of a chance as others. I haven't played that much. I've probably had about 3 or 4 games at it. And
oh, that's fantastic. Are people talking? Are people kind of shouting and screaming
and
having a good time?
Some people went, I just muted everybody. You don't really need to coordinate on it. I just muted them all in a huff. I'm 40 now. I can't be doing.
It's like shut up.
Yeah. I can't be doing with these yahoos, these oinks. I mean, so yeah, and I reckon I won probably. I've been on the winning team, probably 50-50 out of the times I played it. So it's okay. It depends on who you get put with as well, but yeah, it's definitely good fun. And we'll probably get to you're playing it as well, so I'm sure you're enjoying it too.
No, I am. I'm really loving it. I've just been playing the offline league at the moment, but really enjoying it. It is crazy fun, and half the time I don't know what I'm doing, but I seem to be getting better. I have scored a goal, which took me a couple of games to actually score a goal, but I've scored a goal and also kind of defended a few times as well. So I was quite proud. It's one of those games that you just enjoy, but when you pull something off, like a really good move, it really you really are quite proud, aren't you? You really kind of feel good when you pull something spectacular.
Yeah, and the way it all comes together with the that goal, and it all slows down, and you get the replay. It's really good. I really like it. I actually never played the league. I just played sort of quick matches. Just kept doing quick match and then like retry quick match. So I'll have to try the league actually. That'll be really interesting. But they've got a patch out. I got my update. So I never had any problems with hearing my CPU fan going crazy or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But there was a problem with overheating CPUs on the PS4s because of Rocket League. I don't know what is some bug. I think they fixed it now and the update's been rolled out. So hopefully that's sorted for everybody. Also, I played a bit of So Many Me, which I think came out on the 16th of July. It was the second game to come out as part of Xbox's Games with Gold for July. And that's good fun. Nice little puzzle platformer. I played it for quite a while until it started to hurt my head a little bit with figuring it out. And in the game, you're sort of a little blob. You go along and you pick clones of yourself up, and you can metamorphosize the clones of yourself into blocks to help you get over different puzzle elements within the platforming game. Also, you can gather enough of you together. You can also transform into creatures. I turned into a dino jelly, or a jelly saw, I think it was called.
It's called a jelly saw because I just thought I actually I shared that on Xbox because I just thought that was such a great achievement name. It was just like a jelly-o-saw or something like that. So I was like, awesome. I was just when that first happened, I was very happy with it because it's another one of those kind of games that make you smile, isn't it? I'm with you. There's a puzzle that I'm on at the moment. It's hurting my head.
Yeah. I just thought if I pause it there, it's making me scratch my head too much. But yeah, it was really nice that sort of that jelly saw bit, and that reminded me a bit more of sort of Miyamoto game design, where you get something different every level because you got sort of the introduction, and it makes you jump, and the basic mechanics were taught to you, and then you got the transforming into a block, and then it sort of got you used to that, and then it added the jelly saw, and I'm sure that's how it's going to go. There'll be new things introduced, and it makes you want to play it to see what that next thing is, that next trick is around the corner, doesn't it?
It really does, and it looks fantastic as well, doesn't it? It's a really lovely art style that it's got. I just, I kind of had a quick game, didn't really know much about it. When we were talking about it previously, we didn't really know, but it's just a really good game, and like I say, some of the puzzles have been hurting my head. I don't want to go onto YouTube and find out how to do it. I'm trying to work it out myself, but yeah, I think that's probably going to get a bit tricky as you go on as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. It reminds me a little bit of Braid. I don't know if you ever played Braid on 360.
Yes.
I love that game, partly because of the soundtrack just reeled me in. But that was another one where you could just stop. I remember just stopping there on when I was stuck and staring at the screen until I'd finished it, or solved it. And I'm the same as you. I wouldn't cheat. It's against the gaming code, isn't it? So yeah, I really like that. I've also been playing a bit of Journey, which was released yesterday. I think it came out, the re-release on PS4. Which you can get free if you bought it already on PS3, which I had. So I've been keen on getting this for ages. So I downloaded Journey. and played it through last night and thoroughly enjoyed it.
All the way through?
Yeah, I did the whole journey. I couldn't stop myself. I was really tired and my contact lenses were scratching my eyes, but I'm a warrior. I'm a true gaming warrior, me.
It all got blurry towards the end.
I ripped off the top of another cup of tea and chugged it down, and I valiantly marched on. But so I was really tired, and I thought that I wouldn't be able to play it till the end. I was thinking, I'm never going to get to the end of this. But it pulled me through. It made me forget that I was tired, and it made me remember how much I loved the game and how much I loved it on PS3. And it's been long enough that I enjoyed it. I just enjoyed it so much. There was memories of it, but I couldn't remember the whole game sort of in its entirety. I forgot about an entire level. Which kind of annoyed me because I was like, I thought it was nearer the end than this. But yeah, I just played through it for the experience, and I absolutely loved it. And it inspired me to write a little article today, which I've posted on the website. So if anybody's listening and interested in Journey, have a read of that. It's called I've actually forgotten what it's called, but it's on the website, and it's called Journey. When games become art. A personal interpretation. Yeah, that's what it's called.
It's a very good read. I really enjoyed reading that this morning. When you sent it over, I was like, it is a very good read, and made me want to play it. I did download it, or started to download it last night, but reading your article really made me want to just kind of. I think maybe after the podcast this evening, I think I might stick my headphones on and have a game.
Oh, mate, that's the highest praise, and that makes writing it just worth so much more than just writing it for the sake of it. I mean, I wrote it because I sort of, once I decided, I finished playing it, and it really moved me again, like it did the first time I played it, because of the way that it's purposely open-ended on, what's going on, what's happening, what is this universe, what's the purpose of the character, what's the purpose of the end, what's the purpose of the journey, how does that fit in with our lives, or how, you can go as deep or as shallow as you like with it, and I just think that's really nice. And I find the end just really uplifting and just a great piece of game design. I really do.
Yes.
It's just gaming stroke art personified for me. It's where you become part of something that's greater than some of the parts of the game, and it can, I don't know, it can transcend you. You're almost there.
It's fantastic. I mean, how does it look? How does it look on the PS4?
It looks great. Okay, it looks absolutely fantastic. It probably looks better, but this is what I find with myself. Is when it's been a few years since I played a game and I play it on the next generation, my eyes have sort of got accustomed to the next gen, so it looks the same, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Because that's what I'm expecting. It's strange. I noticed it with like GTA, for instance, when like GTA 5 came out, even though obviously looks miles better if you put it side by side, but my mind has sort of prepared me for it. And because I'm used to a certain calibre of graphics, it sort of just looks like what I'm expecting. So it kind of looks just like I'm expecting, but it still looks beautiful and as stylised as ever.
Oh, fantastic.
The sun's all shimmering and stuff.
And also, are there new trophies as well? Or because you've already played it, did you?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it. Like the rare thing, you mean, where you can't get them again?
Yes, don't get me started on that one. Rare. I'm still going to buy it. Actually, I'm saying about that, because all it takes is just a tiny thing to get me talking about Rare. But I got an email today, and at Game, they're doing Rare Replay. They're just awesome Rare Replay that I can't wait to get my hands on. Yeah. And at Game, they're doing a limited edition that comes with a green Battletoads t-shirt.
Wow.
So similar to the one that Mr. Spencer wore.
Cool. And is this... how much is the special edition? Did they announce it?
They did it. It's $27.99.
That's all right. That's cheaper than... Well, it's not, is it? It's not $30, but it's cheaper than £30.
Yeah, I think the game's going to be something like £20 when it comes out in the UK, but this is $27.99 and you get a free t-shirt.
Oh, that's cool. I might get that. I've been playing Battletoads recently with my son as well. I never played it before, and it's pretty good.
Oh, it's fantastic. Some people don't like it. There has been some of the podcasts I listen to, they're like, Battletoads, but I'm like, what are you talking about? It's fantastic. I can't wait to play that. And I think that's the problem I have with the Rare Replay is, what game do I play first? You kind of, do I go chronological?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this. I'm very sad. Do I go chronological? Do I pick my favourite? Is that just going to be, do I just start playing Viva Pinata? I just don't know. And I think that game's going to blow my mind when it comes out. I can't wait for that. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm the same. And I think I'm going to do it chronologically,
Nice.
Because I'm looking forward to playing Attic Attack anyway.
Yes. Yes, like it's like a journey through Rare, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
That's what you have.
And a journey through...
I'm linking those two games together. I'm on fire.
You are on fire, mate. And it's not only a journey through sort of Rare, but a journey through technology, and the advancement of graphics and processors and consoles and systems.
Yeah, it's a journey for our childhood or for our life, really, as well. Because I've been playing all of that. I've always played those Rare games. I've when I was looking at the games that are there, I'm like, yeah, I've played every single game, and so it is just I'm hoping that they probably will spark memories when I'm playing them.
Yeah, you'll be like, oh, I remember when I was playing this, I was going out with my mates. Or if it's an earlier game, you'll say, yeah, I remember going around to my friend's house and we played this, and yeah, so it's like a chronicle of your life for people our age, and for the youth of today, more of maybe a lesson, a history lesson of games.
Yeah, absolutely. My hat's off to Rare for doing this, because it is just fantastic, and I'm sure we're going to wax lyrical about it when it comes out. But I kind of stopped you. Sorry about that. We went off on a Rare tangent. What else have you been playing?
So just one thing about Journey. I wanted to just see how it was scoring, because I thought it was good. Wanted to see if other people agreed with me.
Right.
PS4 Journey is at the moment standing at 93 on Metacritic, which is pretty good. Lots of 10 out of 10s.
Wow.
Well, 3. 3.
Yeah,
and then lots of 9s. And then, it's doing pretty well. So, yeah, Journey. The Witcher is the other game I'm still ploughing through. Enjoying it more and more. It's a great game. It's a great game. I felt like challenging myself the other night. I was like, right, what am I going to do? Because really, it keeps popping up with the main quest mission. And I think that I'm on the cusp of, if I start this mission, it's going to start, the end game, even though I think you can carry on when you've completed it. But historically, once I've completed the story, I don't really go round and do stuff for some reason. I'm like, oh, it's done. So I'm holding off, and I thought, what can I do that I can have a challenge of? So I thought, right, and I looked through my quests, and I'm level 22, and there was a level 30 quest. It says, it says recommended level. So there was one that was 8 levels above me at level 30 called The Tower Out of Nowhere. I thought, I'll give it a go. So I started this quest, and the main thing in it, you had to fight this golem that was like level 30, and it was solid. And it took me a few nights of frustration to defeat him, and I started thinking that maybe I'd made a mistake, especially to fight him. I had to go through a portal that closed once I was through it, and I saved the game because I thought, I'm skillful enough, this will be a breeze, I'm the man. I thought I'd do it easy, and he started to kick my ass so much, and then I'd already saved it because of my arrogance at the start, and I was starting to think, crikey, if I can't do this guy, I'm stuck. I'm going to have to go back to the last save that I've actually got, which was a long way away, and I was like, oh no. So I sort of had to sit down and think, come on, Daz, you've got to do this. You've got to do it. Really, the key to the battle with this golem is slow but hard. He can sort of hit you, 2-punch, and he can kill you. And the frustration of waiting for the loading time as it loads the game again, it sort of gets to you. It starts to gnaw away at your nerves. But I took it patiently, and I think last night I destroyed him, and I was very happy. But the thing that really annoyed me, right, so part of the reason I did this, I wanted to level up. I wanted to get myself higher, get some experience points. So I thought, well, if I pick a fight or a quest at level 30 when I'm 22, I'll reap the reward, surely. That's how it usually works, isn't it, in RPGs? So off I went, did the quest, killed the golem eventually. I think it took me from Monday till last night to do that, of repetitive, just trying to outfox this golem, and I never had the patience until last night of just roll away, one hit, roll away, wait, sort of being ultra careful and then just whittling him down.
Yeah.
And I got like 40 XP, the thing.
Oh, no.
And I swear, on another quest that was just, I don't know, recommended level underneath mine, something like 20, all I had to do was scare some bloke who was sleeping by a fire by doing a few of my signs. Right, a really ridiculous thing that I did, like the hard sign by some pots and pans, and they all rattled, and he went, "Whoa!" And I did similar things like that to wake him up and scare him, and I got like 70 XP for that. And I was like, well, what's that about? It took me all week to do this. He's miles above my level, and I get less XP than scaring an old geezer by the fire. So It troubled me a bit. I don't know if there's a bug there, but I'm not that bothered. I enjoyed it. Did the level.
It's probably not a bug. It's probably just like when you get to that level, that's something to do, and it's just, I guess the level is just the indication of how hard it's going to be or how taxing it's going to be, not the amount of XP. I know whenever I was playing Borderlands, if ever there was something that was above my XP, I used to stay away from it because it would be something that would get Nicola and I frustrated because we couldn't beat it. But again, in that game, it did reward you quite highly because it realised that your XP bar was already, in the large numbers if you did something like that. So I can understand why you kind of persevered and went for that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. In Borderlands, I remember taking on some sort of bullet sponge bosses because the desire of the reward of the loot, you'd get a better gun, wouldn't you, or whatever, some kick-ass piece of equipment. And this is what I expected from taking on something 8 levels above me. It had the sort of the red skull and crossbones icon on it, which in the tutorial it says that means you're going to die. And I thought, it would reward me for that, but it didn't. And I was a bit shocked by that. But, I'm all right about it. I'm over it now. Maybe it's because the difficulty I'm playing it on, because I'm on the second to hardest. Maybe it penalises you a bit on that. I don't know.
Maybe, yes, yeah, maybe indeed.
I don't know. So, that's my gaming week. So what about yourself?
Well, I've been playing The Witcher as well. So, I said that once I'd finished Batman, I'd go back to The Witcher. And I'm doing that. I've gone back. But, there's always going to be a but. I mean, 2 buts I've got is 1, I'm missing Batman. I'm really missing Batman. And 2, I think I'm going to have to start The Witcher all over again. I'm only level 5. I didn't play it for that long and then Batman came out. But I don't know whether because my control system's still Batman, but I was trying to do a quest and I couldn't quite trigger it and something wasn't quite right and it was just... I felt clumsy. When I was playing it, I just felt clumsy. So I'm thinking I really want to play it because I instantly turned it on and my eyes fell in love again with that game and how amazing it looked. And I enjoy it. So I'm thinking about starting again and just going through that stuff again because I just think I probably left it at a bad place. I mean, I actually left it mid-mission, but I think I just left it in a bad place. I'm thinking I might have to start it all over again, which isn't a bad thing, but I think I might have to do that.
It's not, and I mean, level 5, it's not. You're not that far into it. My advice on that would be, yeah, definitely, just start it again. Get rid of your save. Who cares about that? You're starting it again, and you're going to be starting it again from the best point because you've had all these updates since you started. So.
Well, there was a ginormous update before I started playing it. I think it was like 7.5 gig or something like that.
Yeah, that's the update that we talked about a little bit last week, and we'll get to that. I've got that in the news as well, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, big old update, yeah, and
absolutely. So that was ginormous. So yeah, exactly. I'm only level 5. I got to this point where it said you've got to find this person here, or here, and I couldn't get to any of the places on the map. And I was looking around the map. I was frustrated, couldn't find it. I was going to ring you actually and go, what am I doing wrong? But I just think I just need to reset, start again, and then just enjoy it and hope that Rare Replay and Gears of War and Halo don't get in my way. But I'll just have to kind of be mindful when I'm playing it. But also, talking about The Witcher, there was a new DLC today that came out, which gives you extra finishing animations. This kind of new DLC or free DLC that they're bringing out each week. Yeah. This week's one has been released and it's available, and it's new finisher animations for the main character.
Oh, fantastic! I'll have to have a look at that. I hadn't heard about that one. I went through the store the other day and downloaded about 6 that were outstanding from the free DLC. New look for Triss, new look for Yennefer, and there were a few quests as well, so I just got them all, and then they sort of got bundled up into the game. But yeah, I don't know if you remember, but when we first started playing it, and I'd just come off Bloodborne, and I said exactly the same as you're saying there. I was like, I can't do it. My muscle memory is sort of refined to Bloodborne, like it sounds like you are with Batman. And I just can't do it. It didn't feel natural.
Absolutely. I'm pressing the Y button and no Batmobile is appearing. I'm just getting a horse. Yeah. I'm just like, where's my Batmobile? Where's my grapple? I mean, I think what I should have done, and which is what I'm going to do in my replay through, is when I'm saving, instead of overwriting the same save, I'm going to create a new save. So if I do get sidetracked with Rare Replay, I do get sidetracked with Gears, I can go back to story points. So that's what I'm kind of planning on doing and just kind of being a little bit more mindful of it. But yeah, I must admit, I am missing Batman. I finished the Batgirl DLC. That didn't take too long at all. So I was just like, okay, I'm done there. I'll wait until that DLC that you were talking about, which gives me the 1989 Batman. So I was just kind of waiting for that, and then I might do some more of the missions, because I've still got a lot of the side missions to do. But I just thought that was a good time to stop. Bit like you know, once you finish the story, you don't go back, because it feels odd sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know, have you broken off from Batman even though you completed it too soon? Because if you're desiring to play a different game, it's sort of to the detriment of the game. It's as if you're trying to force yourself, but that's never fun, is it?
No, exactly. I had those two icons on my desktop, two on my Xbox One kind of dashboard. I had like The Witcher and the Batman. They're both digital, and I just was like, I really want to play that, but I'm playing this now, you know. And so I'll see what I'm doing. But I really want to get back into The Witcher, because even though I was a little bit frustrated and didn't know what I was doing, I was really enjoying it.
It sounds like you sat there and you're like, I want to play Batman, but you're like, oh bloody hell, right, all right. Come on then, Witcher.
Bloody Witcher.
I've got to have it. It's like you feel that it's like a rite of passage. You've got to. It's like, bloody Witcher. I've got to play you now. Right, I don't want it, but I have to, because you're such a great game, even though I'm not in the mood.
I've got to, otherwise Darren to tell me off. All right, then it's like homework now. It's just like.
But there is an alternative control mechanism with this new patch, so you could try that out. It's not as sluggish. You might like that as well. But
okay, interesting. Yeah. I'll have to have like I say, I just need to get kind of back acquainted with all the menu systems and things like that. So
yeah, it's not as easy as that, though. It takes ages. By the time you've got acquainted, you're going to be distracted by another flower that pops up, like gears or something. And I don't know if you're ever going to get very far through The Witcher, you know.
I'm just going to keep playing the first five missions over. You're
going to know them so well, though. You're going to be like the guru with them.
Absolutely. I'll just be doing it in my sleep by the end of it. So I've been playing that badly. I've been playing that, but also then I've been playing two others that are different from me. One of the ones I've been playing is Age of Empires Castle Siege on iOS. So this is a touch-based kind of civilization game. The reason why I saw it was because on one of the websites that I go to, which is achievements.org or something like that, this popped up and it said it had achievements, even though it was on iOS. So I was like, Xbox achievements, iOS, that sounds good to me. And it turns out that it's a really addictive game, and I'm getting achievements as well. There's only about 200 in there, but I'm getting achievements, but it's really addictive. So you're building your castle, you're building your, and you can go out on battles, which I've done a couple of times way too early, because I've just got my butt kicked and then I've just come back and lost all my army. So at the moment I'm farming apples and logs, and I'm trying to build up all of my castle stuff. And it only works online, so I can't play it on the train, but I've been doing it at home, and every now and then just kind of collecting my things and upgrading my things. I keep getting raided. Every now and then I'll go back to my iPad and it says, while you were away, you were raided twice and they kicked your butt. And so I'm not very good at it, but I'm really enjoying it. It's a really good game.
Cool for an iOS game to sort of impede upon your home gaming as well. It must be good.
Absolutely. So it's just there. You know, I was watching some TV the other day, and while I was watching, I just kept collecting the apples, and that's how you upgrade things: apples and logs and rocks and things. It sounds really bizarre, but it's a really cool game. So I was just watching. I think we were watching like Agent Carter was on TV, and at the same time, I was just kind of one eye on the Castle Siege. So it's really good. So that's Castle Siege, Age of Empires Castle Siege, and that was really cool. And then the last one, which will make you happy, Daz, is that I played a bit of Minecraft.
Oh wow! What made you do that?
Well, I was listening to a podcast, and on the podcast they were talking about this other podcast called Hunt the Truth. Now, what Hunt the Truth is almost a Halo version of Serial. The podcast that's full of interviews, and they say this guy, he's trying to find out what actually happened to Spartan 117, to John, and they interview his old classmates, and it was fascinating. And I was sitting there and I was listening to it, and I needed something to just occupy my mind. This was before Castle Siege, and on the PlayStation 4, because I bought Minecraft on the Vita, I've got the PlayStation 4 version. So I just fired up the PlayStation 4, downloaded it, and I was just having a play. You know, I just kind of fired it up. I started to craft and I started to kind of do stuff. And I must have sat there for like a good hour and a half, listened to this Hunt the Truth Season 1. It's about 13 episodes. Each one is about 8 minutes, 9 minutes long. And before I know it, I'd built a nice little house in Minecraft, and I'd also listened to this Hunt the Truth podcast, and it was really good.
Wow, yeah, that's a great thing to do when you're playing Minecraft. It's just the sort of game that you can listen to, like, both things balance out the other, I'd imagine. So you built a little house. Did it get its teeth into you? Did you sort of feel the addictive quality of the game?
It really did. It started to just kind of grab it. But the thing was, I was thinking, yeah, this is great, but you and my nephew Edward, you know, the two people I know who play Minecraft, you're both over on the Xbox, and because, you know, you can't come over onto the PlayStation servers, I was thinking that if I wanted to do a bit more of this, then I think I might just pop over onto Xbox and buy it there, because I did think it was something that you could happily lose a big chunk of time to.
Yeah, you know, I've never played on a multiplayer on it either. I've only ever done survival, just on my own. So that would be great to hook up and collaborate and maybe build something. It's just a great game. I could show you I could show you my world. You could show me your world. It's just that'd be just awesome.
Absolutely, and there was this little archway, and I tried to go through it because it looked like there was a town there or something, but it said I couldn't do it until I finished the tutorial and done stuff there. But I was actually really enjoying it. Like I say, it was a combination of that really good podcast and that. So I mean, I definitely, if anyone's interested in Halo or the extended universe, then Hunt the Truth. I think probably, you know, if you probably already know about it if you know about Halo, but if you don't, like I didn't know about it, and it's fantastic. It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, I had a listen actually on your recommendation this week while I was doing the ironing of all things. Not as fun as Minecraft, but I thought, you know, what can I listen to? Usually that's the time I'd usually put a podcast on. And I thought, I'll go for Antony's recommendation and stick on the truth on. So I did. And yeah, I like it. You know, it's really good. Sort of put me in mind of sort of like a noir detective thing, isn't it? A journalistic detective story of getting to the bottom of, and uncovering the truth about Spartan John. I liked it. I think I listened to about 3 or 4 episodes. But I really liked it.
No, it's really good. It's a definite recommendation from us.
Yeah, it certainly is. So, anything else? Did you play anything else?
No, that's it. That's been my kind of gaming. That's been my gaming week, really. So,
did you hear about? You just made me think about it when you mentioned Age of Empires being an iOS game. There was a game that I read about that I didn't play because I don't really play PC games. Called This War of Mine. Did you ever hear of that game?
No.
It's really sort of a sullen game, very real. Maybe in the vein of sort of Valiant Hearts, where it's about the sort of realities of war. So I don't think it's got none of the comic light relief that Valiant Hearts has got, and it's not done in a cartoony way. It's sort of it's set from a side-on point of view, and it's about sort of civilians, sort of after a war, or there's a war going on, and everybody's just hunkered down in shelters of the ruins, you know, of the town. And you have your little party, and you have to look after them. You have to make sure they're fed, you know, have water, get the resources, try and sort out disease, and you have to sort of sneak out at night to get, say, antibiotics and things, but it's all ransacked with war, so it's really dangerous to do that, and people get depressed and stuff. It sounds awful, right? But it got some really good reviews, you know, to give you an insight as to how horrid things like that are. A bit like maybe Papers, Please gives you an insight as to that sort of thing as well, which is another game that I'd really like to play, but I haven't because it was primarily on PC, and that's another game that's out on iOS that I should get. But yes, and I saw an announcement that basically This War of Mine has come out on iOS, and it's the perfect little format for it. I just haven't got around to getting it. So it gets great reviews on Steam, and it's got its fans already. So I just thought I'd mention it when you mentioned iOS Age of Empires there.
Oh, that's really interesting. I mean, I must admit, one game that I do want to check out this week is it's a game that came out on Xbox One yesterday, which was the 21st of July, and that is a game called Tembo The Badass Elephant. I'll just say that again. It was Tembo, the Badass Elephant. Now, that's not the cool thing about it. The cool thing is that this is actually made by Game Freak. Now, Game Freak are the makers of Pokemon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's published by Sega. and it looks fantastic. It's a side-scrolling elephant up, and
elephants them up.
Great. Looks really good.
It's a spiritual Sonic successor, isn't it?
It must be. There's a lot of kind of breaking platforms and kind of running from left to right. And I must admit, this is kind of... I was listening to a podcast today, and they said the same thing, and they kind of echoed the same thing. One of my thoughts were, if this was back in the 360 day, if Tembo the Badass Elephant was out on the 360, you'd be able to play a demo, because it was an arcade game. Every arcade game had a demo. Yeah. But on Xbox One, there's no demo. So, I've looked at some quick kind of YouTube clips of people playing it, and I think I want to buy it. It looks fantastic, but I would have really liked to just play a demo.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me started on that. I mean, the demos just they disappeared, didn't they? It's not just Xbox One; it's PS4 as well. And it's like there's no games. What there is games, we're not going to give you any demos of because we know they're not that great. So you're going to have to buy them. That was sort of the launch. That's what I decided they were like at launch. It's like, no, you're not going to play a demo of Rise because it's not that great. You're not going to play a demo of Watch Dogs. You know what I mean? All of them. And you're not going to play a demo of Knack. You're not going to play a demo of what was the other game? The Killzone game. Killzone. You're not going to, and I found it...
Killzone Shadowfall.
Yeah, Shadowfall. And it was just like, what's going on here? Why have they changed this? Yes. And I thought when they get more games, they'll get back into the stride, but they just left it. They just ditched it, didn't they?
They really have. Just there are. I mean, it was quite interesting. One of my friends has got a PS4. They bought a PS4 this weekend, the weekend just gone, and he was saying, are there any demos? He's got Batman. He's deep into that, but he just saying, is there any demos? And I said, well, there's a few, but they tend to just be the Lego games.
Yeah, and when a demo does come out, it's sort of like rejoice. There's a new demo, but they never seem to be of anything of note these days, I think, I don't know who set the trend. Like Rockstar never released a demo. And I think some statistics were released that said, if you release a demo, maybe, well, I can't say actually because my memory's quite vague on it, but I think you could argue it both ways, but I forget whether it was that if you release a demo, you're more likely to buy the game, or if you play the demo, you're less likely to buy the game. I don't know, but from what they've done, you'd think it would be the latter.
Yeah, absolutely. With the technology that PlayStation 4 has, when they bought Gaikai and things like that, you could have a streaming demo. And I remember when the PlayStation 4 was first pitched, that was the idea, that you could start playing a game, you'd enjoy the first couple of levels, so you go, fine, right, I'm going to buy this, and then you just bought the full game. So, that was the first time where I've gone, oh, do you know what? I'll have a quick go of the demo first, because I hadn't heard anything about it until I started seeing people tweeting about it, and then it was on a podcast, and I was like, oh, I'm really going to check this out. And I looked at it, I thought, that's really good, but I want to know how it plays, because I've been bitten a few times where I've got something, and I think Strider was one of them. I got the Strider game on Xbox One, and after a couple of levels, I was like, nah, this isn't for me. And I think a demo would have come to that conclusion, but I'd already paid my money. But I'm going to check it out. I think the Tembo the Badass Elephant. I just like saying that name. So when anyone says what you're playing, I'm just saying I'm playing a badass elephant.
Yeah, I think it looks good. And I noticed it as well. It does look like a fine game. And the thing is, it's not really a close second, but at least we can go like on Xbox One or on PS4. You can go onto Twitch from within the console, and you can watch people playing it straight away, which is as good as you can get, isn't it? Next to playing a demo, I suppose. At least you can see it.
Absolutely. There's always people on Twitch, isn't there, on Xbox, and then streaming on PlayStation 4 as well.
Yeah, so there's always that. But I haven't seen it moving yet. I've just seen a few news articles reporting on it, and I thought, that looks good fun.
It looks really good fun. And with that, we should start the news section. And in this week's news section, we wow at a 1080p that finally comes, a 1080p game, I should say, that finally comes to the Xbox One. Who's getting Star Wars Battlefront first? And a fan makes sense of Bloodborne. Which will help me. So, first news item up. It's not really a news item. It's more of an interesting piece that I saw on a website. And this was that Philips Hue, who create Philips Hue, for those who don't know, it's a light bulb which is connected to your Wi-Fi. So if you've got a smart device, iOS do a lot of it with their kind of home automation, but you can change the colours of your lights of your room, you can dim them and things like that. I always wanted them in the movie room, but my fittings were too small and it was all a bit weird. But you can change the colour, you can turn them all down from an iOS device, so it's all very swanky. You can change the colour, you could even do things where if it's raining, then there's an application called If That Then This, and if it's raining, you can set your colour to blue. It's very funky. I do like it. But what they've done is they've actually, Philips Hue, this is official from their site, is they have now started connecting with Xbox One games. So what they've done it with Chariot. So Chariot, the kind of Xbox Arcade or ID at Xbox game that was free for any gold subscribers. They have coupled with those developers, and the lights around your room will change depending on what's happening in the game. So it's kind of a 0.5 on the Illumi room that Microsoft were teasing us with a couple of years ago or a year ago. But what it does, so the YouTube clip that they have this couple playing a game on the couch, playing Chariot, and as the lights are changing in the game, so going from dark to light, green to blue, the room is changing and the lights are changing in the room. And I just thought it was really interesting. I just thought it was the way they've got the placement of the lights in the room is very interesting. They're using Philips Hue. You have either ones that you can put on a cabinet so you can just rest them, or there's light bulbs that just switch into any lights. But it just looked really interesting. I'll stick a link in the show notes, but it's definitely worth checking out. And I just thought, I wouldn't mind playing something like this. And there would be a lot of flashing lights in the movie room, but I wouldn't mind playing it. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's all about the immersion, isn't it? And that's what you're going to get with that. You're going to get more immersed in the experience that you're playing at the time. As you know, if it's working in tandem with this Philips Hue. It sounds awesome. And it's going to be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, imagine playing Journey last night. And getting it all kind of changing colour as you're jumping around.
All the oranges and the golds and everything. Oh, it'd be amazing. And it'd be like I wouldn't have to buy 5 projectors.
No, it's just very cool. You know, obviously, if you were playing Gears of War, it would just be brown all the time.
Yeah, soil would just start dripping from the lights into your room and everything. You know,
absolutely
brown everywhere. No, but that really does. That sounds really cool.
So yeah, so this was, and by all accounts, when I was reading the Philips website, there's also a mod for Minecraft on PC as well, where this works with. So that's quite cool.
Yeah, definitely. Is it expensive?
No, they're not. I think they're about £170. I think, roughly, for a set of light bulbs, and then it kind of plugs into your Wi-Fi, and like I say, there's an iOS app, so, you know, you can say, right, we're watching a movie now, set it to movie lighting, and it will just go down. And like I say, that If That Then This app as well, that you can put onto your phone, where you can set things like, if you get a text from me, the lights could flash, you know, things like that, and it's just some really funky recipes that they have on that app, so it's really cool. So yeah, it's about £170 for a starter kit, and then you just have to buy the light bulbs obviously when they go. But I'm not sure about the cabinet level ones, the kind of uplighters, if you will. I'm not sure what their pricing are.
Okay, but nevertheless, it sounds good. Sounds good. I'll definitely have a look at that because I haven't seen it. So I'll be checking that out for certain. The next one that I've got here is the Xbox One exclusive Rise of the Tomb Raider has been confirmed at 1080p by Crystal Dynamics creative director Brian Horton.
Woohoo!
Which I know, it's great news, isn't it? So it seems like that, and we'll come on to some other news later on about the similar to this as well, but it seems that maybe Xbox has turned a corner with it being able to deliver the 1080p resolution. I noticed this because there was a correction that Brian Horton tweeted out because a website called NX Gamer did a preview and technical analysis of Rise of the Tomb Raider, a YouTube video, which I've watched, and it's really good, really informative, and you get to see some new footage of Lara in the game, and he goes into great detail about the technical specs. It's really good, really worth a look, and I'll put a link of that as well at the end. Yeah, and within that video, the narrator, I'm not sure what his name is, but the narrator for the NX Gamer video made the mistake of saying that it was either 900p or 1080 or 720 or something. He said the wrong resolution, and basically Brian Horton, the creative director, tweeted, nice analysis, but Rise of the Tomb Raider footage is actually 1080p from an Xbox One, and he was getting, people saying, "Oh, it was 900p." The guy said. So people were saying, "Oh, why isn't it 900? Why isn't it 1080p?" And he said, "Actually, it is 1080p. It was a mistake." And the guy has apologised for that, and you can actually see he's overlaid with the video with that. But everything else in the video is accurate, and it's well worth a look. So yeah, I watched the video, and there's some highlights that I thought were worth mentioning. Because I hadn't heard this sort of latest news on Rise of the Tomb Raider. So there's going to be more tombs, because there was a feeling with the last game that there weren't actually that many tombs to explore, considering it's called Tomb Raider. So they're going to rectify that, and there's going to be more sort of investigative and explorative game styles into it, rather than just the linear story. I think they just wanted to tell that story with the last game and just show the new direction, and so they probably abandoned branching off, and they were just like, let's deliver this amazing sort of quest. Yeah. I love that game.
It was definitely a Batman Begins of the Tomb Raider franchise, wasn't it? Where they want to retell that story and just put us at the start of a journey, and then you did kind of feel that when you got to the end that there is so much more that they can tell, and you did. And that was one of the things that you really wanted. You wanted more tombs, didn't you, in the next game?
Yeah, because the tombs that were there were so nicely done. It was just a shame, wasn't it, that there wasn't more. So yeah, they're going to add more tombs. It sounds like this game's going to be really good.
Yeah.
They're going to have dynamic weather. Lara's going to be able to swim now, which is sort of like part of the course, isn't it? In a second iteration, you can't. They don't bother with the water in the first one. In the second one, they add swimming, so she's going to be able to swim, and that's probably going to be added into the investigative and explorative aspects of the game. There's going to be stealth options with she's going to use a gas arrow, so there's going to be an option, I'm presuming, to get through the whole game, without killing anyone, because she becomes a bit of a mass murderer if you play it the way I play it. A bit like Nathan Drake as well. He's a really nice guy, but he's killed like 10,000 people. And some people didn't like the fact with Tomb Raider that, she ends up slaying tigers and things like that. So she's going to have a gas arrow, so you'll be able to sneak and do some stealth bits. I think some stealth bits will be forced, but I'm thinking that there'll be the option to approach it from, one or two different angles, whether stealthy or all guns blazing. And there's going to be fully deformable snow. Because they're in it's somewhere like Siberia. I might have got the place wrong, but it's just, the location is a snowy place, so there's going to be snow. But instead of just leaving your tracks, it's going to be fully deformable snow. You're going to leave tracks, enemies are going to leave tracks, and the dynamic weather is going to be as such that it would cover up those tracks. So if you're following someone, you'd have to be quick.
Wow.
Because if you get a quick blizzard, it'll cover up those tracks. And your own tracks, so enemies couldn't follow you. I thought that was pretty cool.
No, that's really cool. Do you think they'll have a press Y to do a snow angel?
They should have. You're gonna be able to draw all sorts of just from your footsteps in the snow.
Yeah, I can imagine what's going to happen.
Yeah, I probably won't be allowed to zoom out in the console version, but with the PC and the modding, you could draw something, couldn't you? Like where they ride bikes and write something in GPS on the map or something like that. So yeah, but that sounds really cool. The dynamic weather and the deformable snow, two really great features. Yeah. Really, they were the highlights. But he goes into much more depth about the graphics and the technology and how it's advanced from the last game, and what they're doing to really get all they can out of the engine in this YouTube video. So as I say, I'll put a link on there, and please have a watch. It's really interesting. But yeah, the main headline there is that it's been confirmed that it will be 1080p. Hooray!
That's fantastic. Like I say, if we have actually turned a corner now, and that'll be interesting to find out what I think Forza's already been confirmed at 1080p 60 frames. And it'll be interesting to see what Halo is as well.
Yeah,
because I know Gears is, I think we reported on that last week, as well as it being 4K on PC, it's also 1080p 60 frames on. So come Christmas, we'll just have a full bevy of games that are all kind of 1080p, and then that can be behind us.
Yeah, and there'll be no more sort of arguing about the resolution, because it'll be like, well, the resolutions you've got parity on resolution, and it's an exclusive. It's 1080p anyway, so you can't say, oh, it's not the right resolution. I mean, if you were Phil Spencer, what would you do with Gears? It'd be like, this is a flagship exclusive game. This is part of the reason why a lot of people bought an Xbox 360. It's a console seller, has to be 1080p.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're missing a trick if it's not 1080p. I'd be very surprised.
Indeed, because it's just going to, whether or not they like it, and I know it's coming out a lot later, but it's going to go up against Uncharted 4. And if an Uncharted 4 is over there on the PlayStation 4 running in 1080p, and this is running lower, they're not winning any battles, or they won't get extra customers, which is what that exclusivity deal is all about.
Yeah, maybe Phil Spencer will have to get a tattoo of Gears of War, just 1080p, like Peter Moore.
Locked in. Well, sticking with Xbox One, with the impending launch of Windows 10 coming in, I think, a couple of weeks' time, those people that aren't in the preview program on Xbox One, you can now stream your Xbox to your Windows device. So it's so there was a great article up on GameSpot which just basically took you through how you can do that. You just need to go through the preferences on your Xbox and just say allow streaming to other devices, pair the devices, and then you're then streaming. You can then stream using, I think at the moment it is a connected Xbox One controller or a wireless Xbox 360 controller. You can then play from your Xbox to your Windows 10 PC or tablet, and then you can now play Xbox games. And I just thought it's worth a quick mention because that's just fantastic technology. I'm watching what kind of Microsoft are doing with Xbox and Windows 10 because I just find it very interesting indeed.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's all part of this unity and alignment, if you like, of Xbox One and PC, isn't it?
It is indeed, and it's quite interesting because today Phil Spencer tweeted, I think it was today, but it was Phil Spencer tweeted, somebody asked him about Windows 10 and about the streaming, and someone's just said to Phil Spencer, for this, you're going to need a mouse. And then Phil Spencer replied and said, yep, keyboard and mouse support for Xbox would need to be there to work on it. Those aren't far away. That was a quote from Phil Spencer yesterday on Twitter.
Wow, how cool is that?
So that's a keyboard and mouse coming to Xbox One.
Yeah, and there's been some speculation about the size of the updates that have recently been rolling out to the Xbox One, that they may be in lieu of this connecting of keyboard and mouse to it to give them the same performances that you'd get on a PC.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're streaming to, because I haven't seen this video, so if you're streaming to a Surface or whatever it is, your PC, right, then are you playing the game with your Xbox controller, yeah?
Yes, absolutely. Like I say, it has to be a plugged-in Xbox One because that dongle comes out a bit later on in the year when the Elite controller comes out. And then you'll be able to plug this USB controller either into your Surface or into your PC, and then you'll be wireless Xbox One controller.
So you could stream it. You don't have to be in the same location. So if your Xbox One was switched on at home, and then you were somewhere else with a Wi-Fi connection, you could stream it and play it on your Windows device at a remote location, could you? Will it work?
No, not at the moment. I think at the moment it needs to be within the same Wi-Fi. So at the moment it's almost that Wii U second screen thing. So where because you have remote play with your Vita and PS4, and I believe you can be, as long as you're connected to the internet, it kind of does it by this. But this is you have to both be on the same Wi-Fi. And
can you do one thing on the main console and something different on the streaming?
No, you are basically just taking over your Xbox One. So if you were playing Tembo The Badass Elephant on your Xbox One via Windows 10, then that's it. That's the only thing that you could do.
Oh, okay. But if you were someone else wanted to use the main room where you've got it all set up, you could retire to a different room and you could carry on playing it on your PC or your tablet.
Absolutely, yes.
Cool. Sorry, I just wanted to just work out what you could do there, and that will just grow and flourish. This is just the first step.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd love that. I'd love that, though. Kind of say, for instance, you go away on business and you've got a decent Wi-Fi in a hotel, which most of the time I don't get. But if we did, and you had a Windows 10 laptop or a Surface, then you could just continue playing The Witcher or something like that. That would be fantastic. That would be really cool because all the work should be done back on the Xbox, and it's just pretty much showing a picture, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And while we're talking about Windows 10, this sort of leads me on to the next piece of news that I've got, is that I've been thinking about Windows 10 and about how they're working hard to make it, work closely with Xbox One. And I was also thinking, because, if you've got Windows 7, you've got a reservation of Windows 10 for free on, I think it's July 25th, around about that time. So, but that's for a year. So one thing I was wondering was I wonder what Microsoft are going to charge you when your free year finishes, because they're going to do it as sort of as an operating system, as a service. Oh, it's the 29th of July that you're going to be able to get Windows 10. So I was thinking, well, when your license runs out for that freebie, I wonder what they're going to charge. I haven't seen anything about that, and I'm wondering if you're going to be sort of held to ransom. I'm sure it won't be that expensive. I think they're probably going to do it for about £30 or something like that. But the fact that it's not, you're not getting it forever, you're going to pay for it as a service, it's just a little concern that I thought about that. I don't have any idea what happens when that runs out. Are they going to allow me to revert back to Windows 7, for instance, if I don't want to pay, and I can go back to the operating system that I've paid for?
Well, that's really interesting that you bring that up, because I thought that it was for a year if you download, a bit like kind of Games for Gold, if you downloaded Windows 10 within that year, you got it for free forever.
Oh, right, okay. Maybe that could be it then. Let's have a look at this. So I've just got my reservation up on my system here. So you can reserve it and then install it when you get the notification after 29th of July, and then enjoy Windows 10 for free, asterisk. Yes, free. Full version of Windows 10, not a trial. I've never read this before. 3 GB download required. Internet access fees may apply. Estimated retail price of Windows 10 is £100. Right, okay. That's saying then, from that's saying it's free and that's it. See, I thought they were going to... this is where I'm getting mixed up. Because they say that Windows 10 is going to be the final operating system. So what they will probably do is they're going to update and expand it. And it say Windows X... I don't know, iteration 1, 2, or however they decide to label it, and then I think they may ask you to pay for the license, for a new license when they update Windows 10 to the next iteration. That's maybe what they're going to do.
Yeah, because it's very interesting, because over in the Apple world, we operating systems is now free. The iOS X was the first one that kind of came out, and that was a free to download, free to upgrade, and that's the way they're doing it now. So even though they're putting a lot of new features in and they are innovating, it's free. And I just thought that Microsoft were going to be following suit to that, and that they were going to, because I know there has been a couple of tweets from various Microsoft people saying that the home version will be getting a lot of updates, and also there is something similar to the preview program over on Xbox One is going to be for Xbox 10 as well, Windows 10 as well.
Yeah, I think, if Microsoft sold PCs, if they owned Intel, for instance, or whoever, a rival, then they would give away the operating system for free. But I think historically, the fact that they didn't own the hardware, that was the reason they were making money on the software, whereas Apple owned the hardware that they're giving you. So they can afford to give you the operating system for free because they're making the money on the hardware, if you follow me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, indeed.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but things are evolving, and with things like platforms as a service or operating systems as a service, and Apple's model, and Microsoft more and more talking about versatility between all their platforms. They're not going to pigeonhole just PC anymore, and they're talking about Windows 10 being a universal. Everything's going to be universal, isn't it? It makes me think that they're on the cusp of something like that, but they don't have their own hardware brand really, apart from the Xbox. Oh, and they've got the phones as well. But they don't have the same market share as Apple. They sort of need a killer app, don't they?
They really do. I think
Microsoft and I think PC, but it's strange in a way that they don't own, the hardware manufacturers of PCs. But that was almost the beauty and the reason that it took off. People loved PCs because it was kind of the open source of its day. That it was like, you can just get anything, you can build it like Lego, and all the rest of it. So thinking about all that. It's been released on the Windows website, the support for Windows 10. So just because, as I was thinking about that, it would be interesting to see how long they're going to support Windows 10 for. So they've released some dates on the Windows website for the life cycles of the operating systems. And Windows 10 is going to have mainstream support until October the 13th, 2020. So that's how long they're looking for it to be a mainstream operating system for, with extended support up to 2025. So that's interesting. So they're looking, at what they're releasing here to have a lifespan of well, 4.5 years. But 5 years, really. 5 years. And I suppose we'll see what happens from then. But I just thought it was interesting that, we're getting this new operating system. It's all going to be universal. They must have a plan for this 5 years. That 5 years probably sits, really, when that 5 years is over. So when they're getting ready for the next Windows, if they're going to have a decent break this time, because they have released a few operating systems with varying degrees of success quite quickly, it'll be interesting because both the Xbox One's lifespan would be really due up about that time as well. So it'd be interesting to see what happens then.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking the same thing. In 2020, is that when they're going to truly unify an operating system? I mean, we're getting an update, aren't we, to Xbox One later on in the year, which is going to bring a whole new dashboard. And is that going to start bringing us closer to the Windows 10 look on all of their devices?
Yeah, I think this is what they're working to. It'll be a universal UI. Instead of what we've got at the moment with a little bit different here, a little bit, you've got your Windows 7, you've got Windows 8, you've got your Xbox console. I think they're going to refine and make the UI universal for them all, and maybe ditch this Metro sort of look a little bit.
No, it'd be really interesting. Like I say, I'm very interested in what's happening, and and as we've been talking about previously about buying PCs and things like that, I think I would definitely install Windows 10 on it just so I could get. I don't think I would use it just because the way that the house is set up, and we have a movie room, and I have a dedicated TV, for my PC, but it would definitely be interesting to just try and just give it a go. But like I say, they're going to be bringing out even more functions, features. I've always thought it'd be quite good to see a game up-resed from the Xbox One to the PC. That could potentially happen. So we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, we will. It'll all come out in the wash, as they say.
Absolutely. And speaking about games being up-res, I've just looked at the next on the news, and that kind of leads beautifully to your next item.
It does, doesn't it? Wow, what great positioning. And the thing is, this one I only saw just before we started recording, and I just thought I'd add it in. I just had a quick butchers around the internet and saw this. So it seems that another game has been announced as being upgraded to 1080p from 720p, and that's Pro Evolution Soccer. Now, this was a rumour that was widely discarded, apparently, but with the release of the new Xbox One SDK, Software Development Kit, it looks like Konami's development members have been able to improve PES, Pro Evolution Soccer's resolution, up to 1080p. People thought it was a rumour. On NeoGAF, they were all saying, yeah, it's rubbish. But PES European product manager Adam Barty has confirmed on Twitter that PES 2016 will be 1080p and 60 FPS. His tweet stated the following: "We got there thankfully. Xbox One #PES 2016 will be at 1080p." So there you go. Now, it's the same crew. This is from a website, great article from GameRevolution.com. So bear with me a second because I've only just looked at it really. Let me just scan this extra bit because I don't want to say it wrong. Yeah, so there were claims that because of this, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, would follow suit and also be 1080p. But this... And then they say, this is from the site itself now, that this evolution means much more than just a potentially great visual experience on the Xbox One version of this year's Metal Gear Solid. If this software development kit is truly impactful enough to nearly double the rendered pixels for these two games, then future Xbox One titles are sure to see similar bumps in visual fidelity. And yeah, because it's struggled, hasn't it? There's been all these... Well, the fanboys have been going for it ever since the launch, but there's been a distinctive difference. You're getting 720 or 900 on the Xbox and 1080 on the PS4, though not always on the PS4, that's struggling as well. But both sides of the next gen aren't up to speed as far as I'm concerned. They're not what I expected, but anyway, I'm not going to go on about that. So beat that horse forever. But I think it's the advent of DirectX 12 is allowing them. I mean, when they first talked about this, they were saying, don't get your hopes up. It's only going to be marginal. It's only going to be like 6, 7, 8% increase of graphical horsepower that we're going to be able to do. Really, it's about harnessing the graphics on the PC. It's not really going to help the Xbox One. But this is talking about the DirectX being used and its potential being used to actually allow these improvements to be made in these games. So that's really great news for the Xbox,
It really is. If they can. So would this is only for new games? It wouldn't be a patch that would fix previously released games.
Yeah, but I mean, they could do, because they did that with Assassin's Creed Black Flag on the PS4, because it was released and there was parity with the Xbox One. So they were both either 720 or 900. I can't remember which. Cue the outcry. Cue Ubisoft saying nothing could be done about it. And then they released a patch, and they patched it up. They released a patch on the PS4 that patched it to 1080p. So you can do that, but would a game that's sort of already hit its sales peak, would they invest the money on doing that? I'm not sure a studio would do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They would just wait for the next iteration if it's one of those yearly games.
Yeah.
Like FIFA or Assassin's Creed or something like that.
Yeah, but I'll tell you one thing. That could be an argument for some reasonably sensible DLC. But then you could argue that it should have been 1080p in the first place, couldn't you? So they'd probably, if it was me in charge, I wouldn't be doing that. I'd be like opening a can of worms. Wait, yeah. Like you say, wait till the next iteration and then say, this one's 1080.
Pay £5 to get 1080p.
Yeah, that you should have had. I don't know, that'll go down really well.
People would be burning their Xboxes in the street for that.
Yeah, well, the same could be said for PS4, because not every game's 1080p, you know?
No, absolutely. It just seems that the Xbox One's been tarnished with that rather than kind of both systems. But yeah, we'll get there. We'll get to 1080p, which was what I was really kind of hoping for last generation. But we'll get there on this generation, and then things can only get better.
Yeah.
So the next item is with me, and that's great news. That Shenmue 3 has wrapped up on Kickstarter, and they've got their goals, which is fantastic. So they have raised 6.3 million for Shenmue 3, and they have 69,320 backers are good to go. So this is fantastic. So it's reached its goal. It's going to be funding, and so hopefully I think there's going to be some more money given from other sources, but they have kind of $6.5 million. This dollars, not pounds. So there was some extended Kickstarter goals as well for Shenmue, but it looks like we're going to we'll get our Shenmue, and that's good. I mean, they did actually release a quick trailer online on the Kickstarter site once it had reached its goal, and that was just some kind of that was Shenmue in almost kind of newish looking graphics, and it looked very cool. It looked great. It did kind of start whetting my appetite, but I don't think we're going to see that for a good couple of years yet, are we?
No, yeah, as a minimum, yeah. It's interesting because, you know, I think it's the record, isn't it? 6.3 million. It's the highest Kickstarter game that's been funded, which is fantastic. Yu Suzuki had stretch goals up to 11 million. So he obviously had a vision up to 11 million of budget, yes, but like you say, they're going to get more cash from other sources. I'm hoping that it's going to be funded to a AAA level. I'm hoping.
I mean, initially they started at 5 million with their goals, but then when they kind of reached 4 quite quickly, I think that's when they added all of those extra ones on. So whether that was kind of what they needed or what they thought was going to happen due to that initial level of excitement, but I think what happened was there was that initial level, and everyone who was interested in that, all kind of, you know, not all 69,000, but close to that, all backed it, you know, like you and I did, quite quickly.
Yeah, and then I was expecting it to just carry on, you know, and I was disappointed really to see it sort of peter out, because it sort of stabilised, didn't it? And it was a lot more steady, the growth from like 5 million upwards. But still, it's getting made. I'm really happy about that. I'm so glad that it got past the stretch goal so that you'd see sort of like a reminder, a video of what happened in Shenmue 1 and 2, even though I've got them downstairs in a box with my Dreamcast. I sort of can't be bothered to get it all out. So I'd like to just watch it rather than play it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same. It was quite interesting because the other day I was flicking around on my 4K TV on YouTube because somebody had put a Gears of War, the new Gears of War 4 in 4K. There was a trailer which looked fantastic. But when I was just flicking through the content that matched that search, one of them was Shenmue, the original Shenmue, but in 4K. And it was a guy basically saying, this is my new PC. He had a gorgeous PC. It was ginormous. And he was saying, this is Shenmue running at 4K, and it was quite funny because it looked good, but you could tell that the kind of the graphics weren't there. But I just thought, even that, I was like, well, would I play that if I got a 4K PC? But I think I'm like you. I think I just want to kind of watch all those cutscenes again. Yeah.
I could imagine that. It looks great, but still a bit rough around the edges. But yeah, I mean, when they came out, I mean, Shenmue was one of the greatest endeavours in gaming. It was sort of an unheard of odyssey, and to bring in sort of this one of the first open world games of its ilk, of its help me, man, of its size, of its magnitude. Yeah, that's a better word. One of the, I think it was the first type of game of that magnitude to be attempted to be created. So it was the most expensive game made at that time. So at the time, it had that sort of jaw-dropping quality to it. It was amazing. It was a console seller. It was a showcase. So I sort of want this to be the same. But the trailers and the videos that I've seen, they sort of still look like the Dreamcast game, don't they?
Yes, yeah, they do. They, and that's it. Whether it's kind of upscaled or even, I have a feeling that even Shenmue 3 is going to. I mean, that clip what we saw on the Kickstarter page was a kind of Ryu just kind of standing by a lake, and it's still. It looks good, but it's still got that same art style. So, which is, in a way, is good. I'm still very excited for it.
Yeah, me too. I just got to hold my expectation back a little bit more and realise it's more of a nostalgia piece than an all singing, all dancing new AAA IP.
Absolutely, I think that's kind of a wise way to see it, because otherwise, we've got Final Fantasy VII coming out, and I think that's kind of a more of a readjust your eyes type thing. Yeah. But this one is definitely going to be, you played 1 and 2, and you want to know how it finishes. We're going to show you, but I don't think it's going to win any prizes for best graphics. Yeah,
and I think all the fans and all the backers need to sort of adjust their expectations for that, and then we don't have this big furor when or if it ends up being like that. Enjoy the game for what it is, and if it's better than we expect, then we can be pleasantly pleased instead of devastatingly disappointed if it's the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So my next piece of news is about Bloodborne, and a fan has written an 89-page explanation of the plot of Bloodborne. Wow, can you believe it? 89 pages. Yeah, 89 pages. This is how dedicated the sort of Souls fan base are, that they'll go this deep, follow the rabbit hole this far down to come up with this sort of thing, man. Yeah, so there's a Google Doc for this, which I will put. I'll put the link at the bottom of the podcast. At the moment, if you go to the Google Doc, you get a message saying it can't show you all the tools because it's very busy. So it's getting hit a lot.
I bet.
Yeah, it's called The Pale Blood Hunt, a Bloodborne analysis by the author Redgrave. And thank you very much, Redgrave, for writing this tome. So he goes into 89 pages looking at sort of every facet, all the minutiae of the game to bring out the story, because the story of these games, the way that they've been designed, is that it's not told in the usual orthodox way. It's told in the descriptions of the items, in the conversations you have with the NPCs, but not so much of that really, and the environment itself, and inscriptions and things like that. Do you know what I mean? It's all very cryptic. So it's like a puzzle to piece together. And if you play one of these games, you usually end up visiting one of the forums anyway to find out how this or that works, because it doesn't hold your hand at all. And they've got forums of just people just discussing and theorising about what the story is and what the links are, and just how the whole thing fits together. And it's very interesting, and it's a great way of doing it. At first I thought, well, it's a happy accident. Perhaps he just couldn't. They didn't put it on purpose, and people have made it up, and they're just happy to go along with it. And it's just a happy accident sort of thing. But I think really that all these descriptions on the items are there for a purpose, and it really does fit together. And I'll just read you a little bit from it. So he talks about Hidetaka Miyazaki, who's the genius behind the Souls franchise. And he goes on to say that he grew up in poverty in the city of Shizuoka. This is just from the sort of introduction at the beginning. He was unable to afford any means of entertaining himself, so Miyazaki would spend most of his childhood reading books found in his local library. I mean, this is the depth he's gone into. This isn't about the game. This is about the designer of the game. It's so cool. He was fascinated with Western tales of fiction, but his English was not fluent enough to understand every single word. Many times he would read a story and find that he couldn't understand half of it, so he would connect the words he could find and fill in the blanks, forming a story of his own. You see where this sort of tallies with the Souls games.
Yeah.
And of his own that used the pieces that had been laid out for him. So he made these links out of the things that he'd found in these books to create his own story. And this is like how these Souls games are made. So if this is true and accurate, it's just so cool, because It's really reaching into the heart and into the persona of the designer and ultimately the soul of the game. It's just so cool.
Fantastic.
He goes on to say, now we must do the same, which is right, because if you're playing the game, this is what you want to do. This is what you have to do if you want to piece together the story of the game. There are words out there that we can understand. Ignoring them and misinterpreting them will do nothing but hinder our ability to understand the world of Bloodborne. I want to follow in Miyazaki's footsteps by looking at the words that I can understand and fill the blanks in that I can't. I want to connect the story, not supplant it, with my own. It is for this reason that I've decided to be so stringent, so exact and so precise in every quotation. What I want more than anything is to be proven wrong, to have my information corrected, to have my ideas supplanted with better, more well thought out concepts and evidence taken from the game. So he's asking to be corrected. I like that sort of humility. It's like, I'm pretty sure this is right, but I'd rather be proved wrong because that's getting closer to the ultimate truth. Do you know what I mean? There is a truth out there. There is a real singular truth that we can find. We just have to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And then he quotes Lovecraft with this quote, the oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is the fear of the unknown. And then that's on page 4, and then he just goes on to start with this massive tome, piecing together all these strands of the story within Bloodborne. And, you know, congratulations to the guy. I would like to say that I will read this. I need to go back to Bloodborne, but and complete it, and then I think I'll read it, because I read about Dark Souls and all the lore with that, and Dark Souls 2 and Demon Souls like a demon possessed. So I'll look forward to having a read of that. But great thing for him to do, and it's sounding from the feedback that, you know, he's bob on with his theories. So it's just really cool.
Fantastic. That's a real kind of like labour of love, isn't it, for a game that you just kind of sit down and write that? Yeah, absolutely. And I think it just shows the passion and dedication of gamers, doesn't it? That games can move you to this sort of thing. I mean, to a lesser degree, me with my Journey article, you know, but that's nothing in comparison to what this guy's done. Yeah, absolutely. Or my upcoming one, which is about Herbert the Orstachio from Viva Pinata. I look forward to that. That's due on Saturday, isn't it? Oh Jesus, that really made me chuckle. I make myself laugh. But no, I mean, not to kind of, you know, laugh at it, but I mean, that just sounds really cool. That just sounds like a really, you know, if you're into that world and you're getting that kind of additional content and seeing it through that guy's eyes, and he just looks like he's put a lot of effort and time into that. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there with labour of love. And imagine if, say, Miyazaki and From Software, if they agreed with it, so imagine if they like picked that up and then they printed it in some nice sort of leather-bound tome, and you could then buy it as sort of the official story of Bloodborne or something like that. That'd be so cool. And the guy that wrote it got paid as well. That'd be great. That's fantastic. Didn't you get an Art of Bloodborne book for your birthday? I did. It was the guide. It's the Bloodborne guide. Right. But it's in like a lovely hardback book, and it's got lots of art in it. And so I've got that, but I haven't really read it because I haven't completed Bloodborne yet, and it's not allowed to look at the guide until I've done it. But I'm getting to the end of The Witcher, and I was like, oh, what am I going to play? And I could sort of do with something, you know, like So Many Me or Mario Kart or something like that. And like Claire's like, yeah, you've got Bloodborne to go back to. And I'm like, I knew that. I'm sort of like, oh yeah, I know, but why do you have to know as well? Because it's so bleak. And I sort of like, I'm sick of bleak. I want a rest, and there's Fallout coming up. That's going to be bleak. I want some happy gaming. Buy Yoshi's Woolly World. That's all the cuteness that you need. I do need something like that, you know. I want something fun. You know, like this, I've forgotten the elephant game. What's it called again? Tembo the Badass Elephant. Tembo the Badass Elephant. That's what I need, some of that. You know, you're just setting yourself up, because by the time you finish The Witcher, you'll have Rare Replay, and if you've got Rare Replay, you've got the ultimate game right there, my friend, and that is Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise. Yeah, you know what? I know I mock it, but I'll give it another go. You don't need any more happy than that game. Can you play multiplayer? You can indeed. You can let people into your garden. Nicola, my wife, never let me into a garden because just in case I move something. It's really funny. There's 2 achievements that Nicola hasn't got for Viva Pinata. She's got Viva Pinata. She's got 1,000. But Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise, there's 2 achievements that she hasn't got. One of them is co-op play in your garden for an hour, and the other one is co-op play in your garden for 3 hours. Because, and I quote, I'm not allowed in the garden because I'll mess things up. Wow. And can she not put a lock on stuff to stop the other player messing it up? Oh no, absolutely. I remember once sending my nephew Will something bad in a box that destroyed part of his garden. So you could be really mean.
Wow.
So if I send you any packages, just hope them would care.
Yeah, well, yeah, I will do, because I've seen some videos of like there was a not a famous video, but there's a recent video of a little kid on Minecraft, and I think he'd done a remote play to someone else. It was PS4. And I don't know, he went out of the room or something, and this guy just destroyed his room. And the kid came back in, or something, and like he was just burning the whole thing down, and he was like crying, going, "Stop, please!" And the guy's just going, "Ha ha ha ha! I'm destroying your town." And I thought it was bad. You know, you can protect Minecraft though. I've seen on the options you can protect it and sort of do a read-only version for multiplayer. But this kid let him run free. Yeah.
I always tried just to tease Nicola to get those last 2 achievements. I always said to her, "Look, just create a brand new garden, have nothing in it, and just let's like play around for a couple of hours." But she doesn't like the way my gardens aren't as structured as hers.
Oh wow, okay.
So it's just it's such. I mean, but there you go. That's the happy game that you need to get you out of that kind of to cheer you up when Bloodborne gets you down. Absolutely.
And just to say again, I mean, there's 2 Viva Pinata games in there for less than £30. It's such a good deal. A good deal. So my next piece of news is just about the patch that we alluded to earlier. It's the 1.7 patch for The Witcher 3, and we talked about it last week. It comes with loads of good stuff. So it comes with an option to turn off motion blur and post processing. So it's a cleaner. The graphics look cleaner, which I've tried, and to be honest, I can't really see that much of a difference, but people say they can. So that's fair enough. But more importantly for me, it came with the addition of a stash. So you keep collecting all these objects, and like rarely for an RPG, there's nowhere to put them. You could sell them to a merchant, and then I'm pretty sure they would keep them forever, and you could go back and buy them for like triple the price. But I like to have a place to put them, and so do many RPG players. And anyway, this gives you it. So you don't have a chest at your house or anything, but dotted around the map, there's stashes, like a chest in certain locations, and you can put your stuff in there, and then you're not getting overburdened with it in your inventory, because if you carry too much stuff, you become overburdened and you can't run, and it's just really annoying. So it comes with that as well. And there's also an alternative control method for Geralt, which I've switched on. At first, I didn't notice a difference with that either until I started running side to side, and it's a lot more floaty on the standard, and it's a lot sharper when you put the alternative control method on. So when you're darting from side to side in a run, it's more like you're turning on a dime, if you like.
Right, got you.
And it feels less real, but it feels better for a game. So it's what your choice is. I prefer better for a game, to be more in charge of him and get that instant sort of stop and turn. Whereas if you want more realism, maybe leave it the other way. So there's absolutely loads of updates in there, and I think I talked about them last week, so I'm not going to go on about them again. But it was like 7 gig, the patch, wasn't it? It was massive.
It was. I think it was about 7.5 or something like that. I know it was quite a big one.
Well, the thing that annoyed me was I talked about this last week, and I was like, yeah, it's coming sort of this week. I said last week, and I was waiting for this to turn on PS4 and checking, and it was kept saying, he's still on the current version is 1.5. There's no update, and I was like, "Where's the update?" I've seen online it says the update's released. People are saying they've got it and stuff. No update for me, and I was like bewildered by this. I only got the update yesterday. I think it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Luckily, the PS4 did its job as it should. My Xbox doesn't do this, but the PS4 went and got the update on its own, and it was installed ready. Now, my Xbox never does that, but I'm gonna do a wipe on it. I'm going to do a factory reset on the Xbox and start again, because it might just be a bug on my Xbox. Mm-hmm. So it was there. It downloaded the 7 gig while I was out and about, and when I came to play it in the evening, it was there, and it just didn't. When I clicked it, it gave me a message, because I'd got it on suspend, and it gave me a message that said there's a new update. Would you like to install it, but you'll have to close the game? So I closed the game, clicked install, and I tell you something, it was like 3 seconds. It just went dring, and it was done. And then I was back in, and then so I just had to load the game. It does reset all your settings back to default. So anything you've changed, if you've inverted your pad, the difficulty level goes back to standard. All the settings, but also it adds all these new settings as well. So it's probably worth just going through them all anyway. And this is another reason why, when we were talking about it before, I was like, yeah, why not just start again? And play it properly with. You could say maybe this is like the best patch, the final patch, to bring it up to sort of the best it's going to be. The thing that the reason I mention it is just because of the delay, and other people were having it as well. And it's so widespread that CD Projekt Red started looking into it, and it seemed to strike Europe the hardest. Now, from what I picked up from looking around on different sites, I haven't found an actual confirmed answer, but it seemed that it was people in Europe with the physical copy. If you had a digital copy, that patched okay. But for some reason, if you had the physical disc version, it wasn't sort of like, ticking that box to say, we need an update. So there's been a big delay for a lot of people in Europe on that update. But as of yesterday, I think it's fixed. But I just thought I'd mention it. But
there's no way of forcing that. If you haven't got it, there's no way of forcing that update or anything like that. Update now button.
Well, you can, because you can go onto any game. You can press options, and then you can go for check for update, which I did. Which I did loads of times, and it just said no update available. You're on the most up to date version until it was updated, and then it was just updated, so it just rolled out yesterday. But
awesome.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention it. Yeah,
fantastic. My next piece of news is Randy Pitchford, the developer, or the owner, I should say, of Gearbox Software. He was at Develop in Brighton last week, and he was talking about Brothers in Arms series, saying that he wants to make a new Brothers in Arms game, and he wants to make an authentic version of a Brothers in Arms game, because I know the kind of a couple that we've had have almost been kind of a little bit kind of arcadey, and I know that there was once a game that was pitched called, I think it was Brothers in Arms Furious 4, just after Inglourious Bastards kind of hit the cinema. There was a kind of Furious 4 game which had a very kind of arcadey kind of look to it, but he said at Develop, he said that he's looking into it. He feels like the next Brothers in Arms games has to be authentic. This was a quote from him. He feels it has to be authentic, and that they've been working on that. He said he feels that there is unfinished business, and there with both the fiction and also the history, and he spends a lot of time thinking about it. But he also went on and said that sadly, this kind of game takes a lot of resource, energy, and money, and we can't do this alone. So they're looking for partners to help them with this game. So it was at Develop, and obviously he's pitching to other developers and other development studios there, trying to get some kind of backing and collaborators on the new Brothers in Arms game.
Okay, well, let's hope he has some success. I must say, I'd be quite ready to play an authentic version of that. It'd tickle my fancy. It would.
It's actually, I mean, the reason why I put this in the news, because I wanted to kind of gauge your feeling to this, but from this story, I saw a lot of traction from this story around the internet, and it almost feels like people are getting bored with that near future first-person shoot-em-ups, and that we want to go back to World War II, where, 5 years ago we were getting fed up with World War II and we wanted near future. But it definitely feels like the tide's turning on that, and that a lot of people are quite excited about this, because it does mean about going back to World War II and kind of back to that setting.
Yeah, things they do move in cycles, and moods change. Like I'm saying, I'm a bit RPG'd out, and I want to play something different and happy in that. And I think by the same token, I'm a bit fed up of the future as well, and I'm not really into my Modern Warfare games anymore. I've sort of given up on them after Modern Warfare 2. I sort of thought, right, it's too samey. I've had enough. I don't need to just keep buying iteration after iteration. But you talk about this, and it piqued my interest, and I'm thinking, I could get behind a World War I or a World War II game, authentic, gritty, realistic war game that sort of really immerses you in that horror of war and makes you think a little bit about it, and you're restricted with the weaponry that they had at the time, and that, and just makes you appreciate the horrors of war and what people went through back then.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's quite interesting, because there was that fatigue, and you did see it. Whenever a new game came out, there was a big groan going. We need to move on from this. And I think that they tried with kind of Vietnam, and then they wanted to, and everybody was groaning about it. But it does feel like just. This is almost coming as a breath of fresh air after 5 years of being very kind of stale and stagnant. It's now kind of a breath of fresh air. I mean, I must admit, after I played the Ubisoft game that you mentioned earlier, that after I played that, I really wanted to play a World War I or World War II game again, because I do feel that it was, I quite like, there was Call of Duty World at War, and I quite enjoyed that game. It was
Valiant Hearts.
Valiant Hearts, that's it. Yeah. So when I finished playing that, I really wanted to play a first-person shoot 'em up that had bits of Valiant Hearts where they were showing you backgrounds and they were just telling you and educating you as you were going along. And I really kind of, at that point, I really would have liked to play a bit more of that.
Yeah,
so
it made me want to play like Call of Duty 2 again. That first one where in World War II, even though Call of Duty 2 isn't the first one, but the first one on 360.
Yes.
It made me think about that, because as well as being a whole lot of fun, I had a whole lot of appreciation, and that was like it took pictures of like the barracks and people on, had proper pictures and write-ups about the time, and that was good. It made you think.
Absolutely. I do think if there's going to be another World War II game, I think they need to do it like that. I think they need to have that extra element into it. I mean, one of the scary things that Randy did say on Wednesday, at the last Wednesday at the Develop Brighton conference, was that he was keen to make another Duke Nukem game. So I was like, oh, okay, if you must. But obviously, I'm looking forward to Borderlands 3. I know they teased that a couple of, I think it was last year, wasn't it? Or earlier this year. They teased this ginormous Borderlands 3 that they've just started to work on, and they basically just put a call out to the industry to say, if you want to come and work on it, send me your CV and send it here. So I'm kind of interested in that, but I don't want them to get kind of bogged down on a Duke Nukem game. Just concentrate on Borderlands and Brothers in Arms, please.
Absolutely. Learn lessons from what's happened and just move on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. I've seen a little bird tells me as well that Never Alone, a game that was free on PSN for PS4, and is a fantastic little game about the Inupiat tribe from the Arctic, is getting an expansion. So it's called Foxtails, and it's going to feature 3 all-new levels with different environments to explore, puzzles to solve, and enemies to face and what have you. Just like the original game, this DLC has been developed in partnership with the Alaska Native community. So that's I just like that. I like the story about this game. I like the way that there's been that TLC taken into the game's creation. It's going to contain 5 new unlockable cultural insight videos, which I don't know if you remember I mentioned. You sort of pick something up and it flags that you've got a new video, and then you can watch the video, and it's sort of it's an interview with the people of how they made this or that, or how it's been used, or how they how they catch the fish or make the boats or whatever. It's really cool. So yeah, it's getting a new DLC, and that's going to be available on Xbox One, PS4, and Steam for PC and Mac on July the 28th. So not long in 6 days' time.
Oh, fantastic.
I haven't got a price on it, but it's probably going to be, I don't know, about £6 or £7, I'd imagine. So we'll see. But yeah, if you've enjoyed that game and you want a bit more, why not just dive in and enjoy it all the more.
Absolutely. My last piece of news for this week is, speaking of a game that I really want to get hold of and I'm going to enjoy it, is Star Wars Battlefront. So again, Phil Spencer's Twitter account, which seems to be a good place to get news and announcements recently. Basically, someone just said, Star Wars Battlefront, will it be part of EA Access? ? And Phil Spencer tweeted back saying, yes, you can play Star Wars Battlefront first on Xbox One and exclusively with EA Access. So that EA Access, where you pay a monthly subscription, we don't know what that means, whether it's a couple of days, a week, a month, or whatever. But if you have an Xbox, you can play Star Wars Battlefront first with EA Access, which is a bit of a bugger really, because I've already decided to go over to PS4 to play Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah, I mean I am too, but I'm quite tempted by EA Access anyway. You get a great bundle of games, and that's only going to get better as the months go on. It's $3.99 a month or £20 a year, or $19.99 for a year. You get a whole wealth of games, especially
you really do.
If you're into your sport. I say I'm not into my sports games so much, but if you're into those sports games, it's almost mandatory. As if like the Sky guys are held to, sports fans are held to ransom by Sky for the sports packages. It's like why not do that? Because for the price of one game, you can sort of get them all. It's really good.
Yeah, but so I mean, I wonder if we're going to, because it's quite interesting, because Sony have really been touting Star Wars Battlefront as almost like a first party. They've been, it's always on the adverts. It's always PlayStation. Play
all
PlayStation.
the game footage is off PS4 as well. Yeah.
Absolutely, and suddenly the EA Access, which is only available via Xbox One, is now kind of stealing a little bit of their thunder. But
nice loophole, isn't it, for Microsoft? That.
It really is. It's like, we won't say anything about it. We'll let you spend all your marketing bucks on it, but we're going to get it first. So, But you know, I can't wait to play that game. You know, if I doubt if it's going to be, it may be like one level. Maybe they'll say, you know, you get to play the half level a month before everybody else. I think they did it with Battlefront or Battlefield. Sorry, I think they did it with Battlefield previously, where you got to play it. I think a good kind of 2 or 3 days before it was out for general release.
Yeah, they did, and I'm just having a look at EA Access because it's interesting. And they've got Battlefront on the Play First section. They've got a Play First section where you can play upcoming EA games on Xbox One for a limited time before release. And they've got Battlefront straight away, that's the first one. Then you've got Madden 16, Need for Speed Rivals, NBA Live 16, and Rory McIlroy PGA Tour Golf. And they're all going to be like free trials. And then you get access to full games that you can play if you pay your $3.99 or your $19.99 for a year. $3.99 a month, sorry, $19.99 for a year. You got a choice of, well, or all of them, a choice of all of Titanfall, Battlefield 4, Garden Warfare Plants vs Zombies, NBA Live 15, Madden 15, NHL 15, FIFA 15, FIFA 14, Peggle 2, UFC, Need for Speed Rivals, and Madden 25-year anniversary. That's a lot of games.
There really is. There's a lot of games for, how much is it a month, did you say?
$3.99 a month, or £19.99 for the year.
See, I wonder why that's not over on the PlayStation 4 as well. I mean, I know PlayStation 4 has their version of that, don't they, with the streaming games. But I'm surprised that the EA Access is not kind of going over to the other side of the fence as well. And other companies like Activision or Ubisoft don't follow suit as well.
Well, they offered it to Sony, and Sony turned it down. They said it wasn't part of their brand or something. I forget the exact quote, but wow. They were questioned on why they didn't go for it.
I guess because they have PlayStation Now, don't they?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they didn't say that, but that would be the reason, won't it? Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait for that game.
Oh no, Battlefront is going to be, it's going to be amazing. I will just be spending so much time over on PlayStation 4 and playing that, you know, and you know, it's quite interesting because that first couple of days could mean that you've leveled up or you've got a perk before everybody else, and that's how they'll probably sell it to people like me.
Yeah,
you know?
and from, because I was just going to say that I'll probably dive in for a month of EA Access for $3.99 to play Battlefront, because why not? But then there'll be a lot
of people doing that, don't you? They'll have this explosion of people subscribing, and then it will just drop off.
They'll never have seen so many on that. They'll spike for that month, but they might get you because, like you just said, they might say, "Well, you can carry your save over." And then it'd be like, I've got to listen. We had quite a good time. Maybe we should just get it on Xbox. So, you know, it's a bit of a coup, isn't it, that?
It really is. It really is indeed.
Cool. And my final piece of news is only a quickie, really. Mo Yang have announced the director of the Minecraft movie. Now, it's weird because I thought that the Minecraft movie had been abandoned with the previous guys involved. Put the script to Mo Yang, and it was quite Goonies-esque. And it wasn't. So the quote was that it wasn't something they were interested in, and it sort of got abandoned. And I thought so. It looks like it hasn't been abandoned. It's there in the wilderness, and Mo Yang have announced that Rob McElhenney, Rob McElhenney, you might know him, is the guy who's famous from being, he's a writer from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, so Rob McElhenney, I think is how you say it, and he's going to be the director of the up-and-coming Minecraft movie. But I've had a little look on the internet to find more details, and there's nothing else out there, you know, apart from what I've already sort of explained about that it wasn't approved. The previous story, you know, was refused or whatever, for whatever reason. It wasn't being it didn't get a green flag. So all we know is that there's been a director announced. It's the guy who's been a writer on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and so we're going to get a film. I'm happy with that because I love the look of the Telltale story mode Minecraft game, and for me, that looks like the perfect fit for a Minecraft movie. I'd be just happy to watch that and not play it. I'm going to play it as well and watch it because I'm going to get that Telltale game. But yeah, a Minecraft movie, you can count me in. So I'm glad it's going to get made, and it makes sense. There's no reason not to, because even if it was dire, it's a license to print money, really.
It really is. It's like the Lego movie, isn't it? Did you see the Lego movie when it came out?
Yeah, I really liked it. Yeah,
I love that movie so much. I went to see it. I watched it on my own. I went to the cinema. I watched it on my own in 3D, and I just absolutely loved it. I have it on Blu-ray. I watch it every now and then. Every now and then it's on Sky, and I just kind of, if I catch the start, that's it. I'm done. I'll just sit there and just watch it. But I love that movie. It's very fun.
I love it, and the message that it gives as well. I really like it. Yeah.
And also, those guys, they're making another one, which is they're making a Batman Lego movie, and they're also making another Lego movie, but they're the guys that are going to be directing the Han Solo movie, which we get in a couple of years' time as well.
Wow, are they? Wow. Oh, wow. It's a good time for films. And obviously, we both can't wait for Episode 7 at Christmas time.
What with Episode 7 and Star Wars Battlefront? It's quite funny because my movie room at the moment is very much kind of Batman, Avengers. There's kind of really kind of classy pictures that my wife chose, and some figures. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to swip around the figures. So the ones I've got up in my office, the Star Wars ones, I'm going to put down into the movie room. So I'm totally Star Warsing up the movie room, and then I'm going to watch some of the Star Wars movies before Episode 7. And also there's a book coming out as well in September which bridges between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens as well. So there's a book coming out which I'll keep everyone posted a bit nearer the time.
Yeah, please do. That's really awesome to know that. I didn't know that. I'll definitely want to read that.
So that should be fantastic. And with that, that's about it for this episode. So as always, all that remains to say is big thank you for listening. And it's been a real pleasure. So you can keep up with us at gamersoftheLostSpark.com, the website where we have all of our podcasts and our articles. So Darren's latest Journey article, which is a must read. You can also find us on Facebook, Gamers of the Lost Spark there. We're at Lost Spark Pod on Twitter, and you can also find us on YouTube. Darren, where can we find you online?
Yeah, you can find me under the gamer tag Wythamator on PS4, Xbox One and Twitch, DazAGamer on YouTube, and at Daz Whittam on Twitter. And if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, we've got a new subscribe button on the website, so please click on that if you feel like it.
Fantastic. And as for me, I am Chessman on Xbox Live. I'm PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network, and I'm Chessman UK on Twitter. If you have any feedback about the podcast or would like to ask the Sparks a question, then please send it to our email address. That's feedback@gamersoftheLostSpark.com. Also, if you're feeling generous, please head over to iTunes and give us a rating or drop us a review. That would be fantastic. So that's about it for this week. So we'll catch up with you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye. Yay, we're done
again. I've really started laughing at Horace the Horstachio.
That was so funny, that.
That's just awesome. Oh, fantastic.
Oh, fantastic. I love it. I love it when it's done. I love doing it, and I love it when it's done, Well, I love it even more when it's edited.